What if the most important conversation of your life happened in a waiting room with a complete stranger you'd never met before? What if that one conversation changed everything? This is the story of Jordan, a 24-year-old who walked into a waiting room frustrated, broke, and ready to quit. And the older man sitting across from him who said 7 words that flipped his entire life around. It was a Tuesday morning. Jordan sat in a bland government office waiting room. Plastic chair, flickering fluorescent lights, a number ticket in his hand that read 47. They were on number 12. He slumped back and stared at the ceiling. He just lost his 3rd job in 2 years. Not because he wasn't smart. Jordan was sharp. But he could never seem to stay consistent. He'd start strong, burn bright for a few weeks, then slowly fade. Miss a shift here, show up late there, stop caring right when it mattered most. Now he was filing for unemployment. Again. Across from him sat a man who looked to be in his early 60s. Clean-pressed shirt, calm eyes, no phone in his hand, just sitting quietly, completely at ease like a man who had nowhere else to be and was perfectly fine with that. Jordan noticed him and looked away, then looked back. "You don't look like you belong here," Jordan said, surprising even himself. The older man smiled. "You don't look like you belong here too, son, but here we both are." Jordan let out a short laugh. "Yeah, well, some of us make bad decisions. Or inconsistent ones," the man said simply. Jordan frowned. "What's the difference?" The man leaned forward slightly. "A bad decision is a mistake. An inconsistent life is a pattern, and patterns can be changed." Something about the way he said it made Jordan sit up straight. "I'm Walter," the man said, extending his hand. "Jordan." "So what's your story, Jordan?" Jordan shrugged. "Lost my job. Again. I can't seem to stick with anything. I go hard for a while and then I just fall off. Every single time." Walter nodded slowly, like he'd heard this before, like maybe he'd lived it before. "You know what your problem is?" Walter said. "Please tell me," Jordan said, half sarcastic. "You're running on motivation, and motivation is a terrible fuel." Jordan stared at him. "What does that even mean?" Walter clasped his hands together. "Motivation is emotional. It shows up when things are exciting and disappears the moment things get hard or boring. And guess what? Everything gets hard and boring eventually. Every job, every business, every relationship, every goal." "So what do you run on instead?" Jordan asked. "Consistency, discipline, showing up whether you feel like it or not. Not because it's exciting, but because it's what you do every single day." Jordan was quiet for a moment. "Easy to say." "You're right," Walter said. "It is easy to say. It's also the hardest thing most people never do." "I started my first business at 27 with $400 and a folding table at a flea market. You know what made it work? Not talent, not luck. I showed up to that flea market every single Saturday for 3 years straight. Rain, snow, slow days, sick days. I showed up. While other vendors came and went, my regulars knew exactly where to find me. Consistency built trust. Trust built customers. Customers built everything else." Jordan leaned in. "But what about the days when nothing's working? When you're showing up and getting nothing back?" Walter smiled. "Those are the days that matter most, because those are the days that separate the people who make it from the people who don't. Anyone can show up when things are going well. The question is, can you show up when they're not?" Jordan sat back in his chair. Something heavy was settling in his chest. Not sadness, something more like recognition. "I always tell myself I'll get serious when things line up," he said quietly, "when I get a better opportunity, when I feel more motivated, when the timing is right." "And how's that working out?" Walter asked gently. Jordan looked down at the number ticket in his hand. "I'm sitting in an unemployment office at 24. "The timing will never be perfect, Jordan. The opportunity will never feel big enough. The motivation will never last long enough. The only thing you can control, the only thing, is whether you show up today, and then again tomorrow and the day after that." He pointed at Jordan directly. 7 words. Write them down if you have to. Jordan pulled out his phone. Walter said slowly, "Small, daily, actions Build extraordinary lives. The room called out, "Number 47." Jordan stood up, looked at Walter, and for a second didn't know what to say. "Thank you," he finally managed. Walter waved him off warmly. "Go build something, son, one day at a time." Jordan walked out of that waiting room different. Not because his situation had changed. It hadn't. He was still broke, still jobless, still starting over. But something had shifted inside him. He went home that night and wrote those 7 words on a sticky note above his desk. Small, daily actions build extraordinary lives. He got a new job the following week. Nothing glamorous, just entry level. But this time, he treated it differently. He showed up 10 minutes early every single day. He did a little extra every shift, not to impress anyone, but because that was his standard now. When motivation faded, and it did, he showed up anyway. 6 months later, he got promoted. A year after that, he launched a small side business on weekends. He never forgot the stranger in the waiting room, the man who didn't give him money or connections or some secret formula, just 7 words. And the reminder that the most powerful thing in the world isn't talent or luck. It's the person who simply never stops showing up. Here's what I want you to take away from this story today. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need perfect timing or a huge opportunity or to feel ready. You just need to show up today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when nobody's watching. Because success isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the quiet, unglamorous Tuesday mornings when you choose to keep going anyway. Small, daily actions build extraordinary lives. Start today. Thanks so much for watching. If this story spoke to you, please drop a like, share this video with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe so you never miss a story like this one. See you in the next one.